started studying the most important topics, 45 most important topics of NEET physics, and we completed the first one. Now let us study the second topic, which is uniformly accelerated motion, which comes in motion in one dimension. Motion in one dimension. So here, what is the basic formulas required to solve the questions based on this topic is, one is these three formulas or four formulas. What is the condition of uniformly accelerated motion? The velocity keep on changes but the acceleration remains constant. Of course, where there is an acceleration, there must be change in velocity, but the acceleration of the body or particle remains constant, such that if you consider the uniformly accelerated motion of a body along any straight line between any point, between any two set of points throughout the journey, you can apply 3 or 4 equations. What are those equations are? Those are the equations or formulae related these quantities. What is the initial point and what is the speed at that point? U. And what is the final point and what is the speed at that point? V. And what is the displacement covered from initial to final position? S. And with what acceleration the body is actually moving, that is A. And the relations are given as V equal to U plus AT, S equal to UT plus half AT square, V square minus U square equal to 2AS, and Sn equal to U plus A by 2 into 2n minus 1. There is one S, there is one Sn. S is the distance travelled in 3 seconds, like first second, second second, third second. But Sn is distance travelled in third second, not in 3 seconds. After 2 seconds, the distance travelled in 1 second, that is called third second. Like that, for nth second, the distance covered formula is this one. And I request you that it is not like you will remember formulas, then you will solve the questions related to this. There are many special cases also will come based on this topic. You practice all of them, but don't try to remember each and everything like a formula. Remember as many as formulas as possible, but try to understand each and every question in this manner. What is the data given? And what is the journey taken, or what is the path followed? Draw the required diagram, then split the journey into parts. Between which 2 points you can apply these equations, that actually decides how easily you can solve the questions. So understand the question, draw the required diagram, then try to apply these equations. And I will try to solve one question so that you will understand how to apply these equations. Similarly, when you consider this uniformly accelerated motion, the best example for this one is motion under gravity. Motion under gravity means what? The motion of an object under the effect of gravitational force. Motion of an object under the effect of gravitational force. Motion of an object under the effect of gravitational effect. There are 2 cases comes mainly. One is if you drop a body from certain height, then it is called free fall, because you are dropping, you are not throwing. Of course, the questions will come based on if you throw it also. But basically, we divide into 2 types, free fall and another one is throwing upward. You throw the body upward from the ground or from certain height, that is like upward motion. So the basic things what is required is, when you consider free fall, what is the time taken to reach ground? Because you are dropping the body from certain height. So what is the time taken to reach the ground? Under root 2h by g. It depends upon height. And what is the speed with which it hits the ground? Under root 2gh. And of course, the upward motion, when you consider, there are three more formulas will come. You are throwing a body upward. Upward motion means the journey starts from one point and it goes up and come back. The total journey is called upward journey, where there is an ascending time, there is a descending time, and ascending time is always equal to descending time, that is u by g. So the total time of flight will become 2u by g, and before coming to rest it reaches a maximum height. And what is that maximum height? Is u square by 2g. But whatever may be the question, you always remember one thing, that for every particle which is moving under the effect of gravity, there is an acceleration due to gravity, which always directs downward, nothing but towards center of the earth. And that value is g, is given by g is how much? 9.8 meter per second square. If they don't mention anything, then you take 9.8. In few numericals, they will mention you to take it as 10 meter per second square. Then you take it as 10. Otherwise, it is 9.8. Now here, these are just basic formulas. There are many cases will come. But every time what you have to do is, you have to understand the question and you have to think logically and sensibly, so that you can solve the question easily. Understand, draw the diagram required again, and try to apply these equations or try to utilize these basic formulas, anything, so that you can solve the question easily. So let me show you whatever I said you, like how to apply this equation or these formulas, whatever it is. Let me take these two simple or logical questions. The very first one, if you see, what is the first one? A particle is moving with constant acceleration and it crosses 2 points A and B with speed u and v along a straight line. Then find the speed at midpoint between A and B. So, if you take the data, they have given only two things, that the body is having two different speeds at two different points. Let's take A and B. And here speed is u, here speed is v. And the uniform acceleration we don't know. Let's take it as A. Now they are asking the speed of the same particle when it was at midpoint between A and B. Let's take it as V1. So this is the diagram or figure required. This is the path of the body. Now I told you that you can use those four equations like V equal to U plus AT, S equal to UT plus half AT square between any 2 points. You must use logic, you must use your sense to choose those 2 points. 1, 2, 3. Let's take this point as C. You can apply between A and B, you can apply between A and C, you can apply between C and B, anything. What is constant throughout the motion? Acceleration. And here, if you consider any 2 points, you know the initial and final speed. And you know the acceleration, you know the displacement. Of course, you don't know, but you can take it as xx because it is a midpoint. Now, let me consider from A to C. Now, the question is which equation I have to use. From A to C, I know initial speed, I know final speed, I know acceleration, I know displacement. V, U, A, S. So, what equation I can use? Better V square minus U square equal to 2AS. So, let's go for that. So, V square, V1 square minus U square equal to 2AX. Then similarly, you can choose C to B or A to B, anything. Now, A to B, anything you choose, there is no restrictions. So A to B is V square minus U square equal to 2A times, what is the distance now? 2x. So that V square minus U square equal to 2 times 2AX. But 2AX value I can substitute as V1 square minus U square. So 2 times V1 square minus U square. So V square minus U square equal to 2V1 square minus 2U square. Bring this minus 2U square this side, plus 2U square. So V square plus 2U square, already minus U square equal to 2V1 square. So 2U square minus U square, U square. So V square plus U square, and bring this to this side, equal to V1 square. What is V1? The considered speed at midpoint. So this is the speed at midpoint, under root V square plus U square by 2. So it all depends upon your practice and your logical thinking, that how better you understand the question and how easily you draw the diagram and how easily you analyze the question. Then choose wisely which equation can be used properly, so that you will get the solution quickly and perfectly. Similarly, let us understand the other type of question based on motion under gravity. So what is the question given here? Take the question. The question given is, it's all about a particle thrown upward crosses same point. You are throwing upward. So here the question given is related to upward motion. Now we have three formulas. Let's take whether we can use those directly or we have to take the help of those equations for uniformly accelerated motion. So a particle thrown upward crosses same point twice after t1 t2 time from the starting. Then find initial speed. See, a body thrown upward with an initial speed, we don't know what is u, but it crosses one point twice, not just once, it's twice, after time t1 from the starting and after time t2 from the starting. That means you have to understand here itself that the body or particle crossing the given point twice, while going up once, while coming down twice. So that while going up and while coming down. Now this point I take it as A, this point I take it as B, this point I take it as C. Now A to B time is t1. Then obviously B to A or C to A is also how much time is t1. Then A to C time is how much? t2. So this time, total time is t2. So from here to here, this is A, this is C. So time from A to C is t2, here to here. And time from A to B t1 means time from C to A also t1. Because ascending time equal to descending time. So this is also t1. That is what the logic we said here. Ascending time is always equal to descending time. Now here to here t2, here to here t1. What is the total time of flight? T from A to C plus T from C to A. Therefore t2 plus t1. But what is the total time of flight? 2u by g. We use this formula, but before that we also used logic. So logic and data both are important. Understand, use your logic, use your memory and try to solve the question, so that the initial speed will become g into t1 plus t2 divided by 2. Then you can find the maximum height also. What is the maximum height reached? U square by 2g. U value is given. T1, T2 they will be giving in the question itself. So this is the way you have to solve the questions related to uniformly accelerated motion. Not just this type only. But in every question, the simple rule is understand, draw the diagram, use your logic, then use the data or use the formula, basic formula, whatever you have. Then you can solve the questions. So practice every question in the similar manner. Then you can become master in solving uniformly accelerated motion. And apart from this kind of question, there are also few questions will come based on graphical analysis. Let us try to understand what kind of questions will come based on graph and how to solve those questions. Let us try to understand. So, let us try to understand the other part of second topic, graphical analysis. So, what kind of questions will come and what is the data required mainly to solve such kind of questions? So, when you consider a graph, basically there are two types of graphs. Graph having straight lines, graph having curve. There are specific graphs will be there in curve like parabola, hyperbola, that is different. But basically you can divide the graphs into two types, straight graph and curved graph. Now what are all the types of questions usually we get in the entrance based on this graphical analysis? Not only in this chapter, you will get the graphical based questions in many of the other chapters also. Those also, if they are important, we will discuss it. Now here, graphical analysis means the first kind of question is based on slope. They will not ask you to find slope, but they will give you a question, then you have to think and decide whether the quantity whatever they are asking, can we find it by finding the slope of the graph or not. Means if you find the slope of the given graph, can we get the answer or not, that you have to understand on your own. And if the graph is straight line, then the slope is delta y by delta x. If the graph is curve, then the slope is dy by dx. And for example, if you consider ST graph, displacement versus time. If the graph is straight, then the slope is delta s by delta t, that is average speed or average velocity. And if the graph is curve, then instantaneous speed or instantaneous velocity. Similarly, slope of Vt is average acceleration or instantaneous acceleration, because average means delta V by delta t in case the graph is straight. dV by dt is instantaneous acceleration in case the graph is curve. So you have to always make sure the difference between the curved graph and the straight graph. So slope of straight graph is delta y by delta x. Slope of curved graph is dy by dx. Next, second type of question. If the given graph or from the given graph, if you find the area below the graph, you can find the answer sometimes. But that you have to understand and you have to decide on your own first. So that the area below the graph means delta y into delta x, proportional to. Not like simply you will take delta y into delta x. Suppose area below the graph is in triangular shape, then what is the area? Half into base into height. If it is rectangle, then length into breadth. But it is proportional to delta y into delta x, y quantity into x quantity. Slope is ratio of y by x, y and x, and area is proportional to y into x. If the same graph is curved graph, then the area below the graph you will get it from integration of y quantity with respect to x quantity. So that you consider area below Vt graph. Area below Vt graph means what? V into t, that is nothing but either distance or displacement. But when you get distance, when you get displacement, that is a question. The total area above the time axis and area below the time axis, that sum is called total distance covered. If you subtract the distance covered, if you subtract area above the time axis with area below the time axis, then you will get the displacement. Because area above the time axis represents the direction along one line. Motion along one direction. Area below the time axis represents the motion in the opposite direction. So that one direction and then opposite direction. So this minus this is called displacement. That's why positive area minus negative area is equal to displacement. Similarly, area below AT graph, acceleration versus time graph, that is A into T. So what it is equal to? Change in velocity. So the second type of question you can get it from area below the graph. And the third one is drawing the graph. They will ask you to represent the graphical variation of one quantity with respect to other quantity. Let us try to have some basic mathematics required to solve such questions. That is, the graph may be straight, the graph may be curved. Usually there are three types of graphs which comes very oftenly in physics. One is straight graph. What are the generalized equations? The power of x quantity or y quantity must be 1 only. Like y equal to mx, y equal to mx plus or minus c, y equal to minus mx plus or minus c. This is the general form. For example, I will tell you in this topic only, v equal to u plus at. If you want to draw vt graph, what is v power 1? What is t power 1? So v equal to u plus at. Now v you have to compare like y, and t you have to take it as x, then compare with one of the general equation, then you can draw the graph. Here positive slope means the graph lies from first to third region, and negative slope means it lies from second to fourth region. Or the slope nothing but tan of angle made by positive x direction. So these are the positive slopes represented with dotted lines. They are making the angle less than 90, so that tan theta positive, so slope is positive. But these are the thick lines which are making angle greater than 90 with positive x-axis, so tan theta negative, so slope is negative. And these are the graphs having intercept. They are intersecting on y-axis at some point. So they have some intercept, maybe plus or minus. Plus means above the x-axis, minus means below the x-axis. And these are the graphs, mx or minus mx. They pass through origin, there is no intercept. This is all about straight line graphs. Similarly, if you consider parabolic graph, there either the power of x or y power means the quantity taken on x-axis or the quantity taken on y-axis having the power 2, then the graph is parabola. So like this. So there are total 4 types of parabola. Similarly, the last one, hyperbola. If y quantity is inversely proportional to x quantity, then the corresponding graph is hyperbola. Like when x is tending to 0, y becomes infinity, y goes to infinity. When x tends to infinity, y tends to 0. Such kind of variation is called hyperbolic variation. So these are the graphs required. Now let us take 1 or 2 examples to understand these things. So the very first kind of question is slope. So take one simple question to understand that. Consider simple VT graph such that here the time is 10 seconds and here the velocity is 5 meter per second. They have given this graph and they are asking you to find out what is the acceleration of the particle. Here the graph is straight, so slope is constant, and slope of VT graph gives you what? Acceleration. So slope is constant means acceleration is constant, And what is the acceleration? Nothing but slope is delta v by delta t. What is delta v? 5. What is delta t? 10. So what is that? 1 by 2 or 0.5 meter per second square. Or you consider the other question, simple question, like consider there is a graph given between acceleration versus time. Now this is the initial acceleration. Let's take here the value is 10 meter per second square and here time is 10 seconds, and the particles suppose starting from rest. Then what is the velocity of the body after 10 seconds they are asking. Initial velocity is 0. What is the velocity after 10 seconds? The graph given is between acceleration and time. Area below AT graph equal to change in velocity. What is change in velocity? Final minus initial. So what is the area? What kind of shape it is? Equilateral, triangle. So what is the area? Half into base 10, height 10, 2 5s are. V minus U is how much? 50. U is 0. So V is how much? 50 meter per second. This way you can use the area concept. And the final third one more question I will explain you. Suppose a particle starting from rest and accelerated uniformly, then draw the Vx graph, suppose. Then the relation between Vx, what is V? Speed. What is x? Displacement. So the relation is V square minus U square equal to 2as. V square equal to 2ax, but acceleration constant. So V square proportional to x. Now they are asking you to draw the graph between V and x. V is on y axis, x is on x axis. Now y square proportional to x. Have we taken this or not? The parabolic graph like this. So like that you can use this graphical analysis in solving the questions based on graphs. Slope, area and drawing the representation of graphical variation. So we are discussing about our second topic of target NEAT, which is uniformly accelerated motion, where few more cases, if you remember, you may get direct questions based on those things, or you may get help of these things in solving other questions. So let us have a look at it. What are those cases which are important or which are like most of the times we got the questions based on this in previous years. So the very first point, consider between any 2 points of uniformly accelerated motion, between any 2 points. If the initial velocity u, final velocity v, then the average velocity between initial to final point is u plus v by 2. Then next point is, if the body is traveling with uniform acceleration and it covered some distances x, y, z, x, y, z in successive same intervals like t time, next t time, next t time, so on. Then you can get the relation, like you can take the equation of motion between any 2 points for first interval, second interval, third interval, so on, so that you will get the acceleration, or you can get the relation between those two distances where 2y equal to x plus z. And the third one is, it is like body accelerated from rest, then decelerated and finally coming to rest. Like The train running between two stations started from one station, accelerated, reaches maximum velocity, then applied brakes and coming to rest. So in that case, what maximum velocity acquired by the train? Like that case, they have created like initially acceleration is something alpha, then the deceleration is beta. Then what is the maximum velocity? Same way you can apply for the first accelerated motion equations and then decelerated motion equations. Then you can get the maximum velocity, which is equal to alpha beta t by alpha plus beta. Next one. In the similar way, what distance it covered between the two stations or between initial and final position? That also you can get it. That is equal to alpha beta t square by 2 into alpha plus beta. This is also one of the important case. This is all about like uniformly accelerated motion. But one special case we usually discuss, that is motion under gravity, where we will discuss two cases. One is free fall and another one is upward motion. In that, remember 2-3 points, they are also important. Not only for free fall, here the first point, for any accelerated motion with constant acceleration and starting from rest, if you consider the ratio of distances covered in first second, 2 seconds, and in 3 seconds, and 4 seconds, and 5 seconds, so on. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, first second, and then first 2 seconds, first 3 seconds, first 4 seconds, so on. That distance is proportional to t square. That's why the ratio will become 1 square is 2 square, 3 square, so on. Nothing but 1 is to 4 is to 9 is to 16 is to so on. And one more thing also they can ask based on the same thing, that is the ratio of distances covered in first second, second second, third second, fourth second. Every interval is how much? 1 second only. But first second, second second, third second, fourth second, so on. There you will use Sn equal to what? U plus a by 2 2n minus 1 formula. There you will get the ratio as 1 is to 3 is to 5, so on. So this is the next point is, for every body thrown upward, any body you throw upward, the last second of upward journey, whatever distance it covered, same will be covered in the downward journey of first second. Last second of upward journey, first second of downward journey, because always ascending time equal to descending time, so it will cover the same distance also. So and that is always equal to, you throw with any speed, but the condition is it should be greater than 10, because the 1 second when you consider the distance travelled is 5 meter. When you drop a body from certain height, in 1 second it will cover how much distance? Half gt square. G value approximately how much? 10. 10 by 2 into 1 square, how much? 5 meters. That's why if you throw a body with some velocity such that the height is greater than 5 meter, then the last second of upward journey always covers how much distance? 5 meter. That's why I am mentioning the condition u is greater than 10 meter per second, under the assumption that g is approximately 10. Then if a body thrown upward and air resistance is neglected, usually we consider that air resistance is neglected. But if you consider air resistance, then apart from acceleration due to gravity, you will also get some constant acceleration due to air resistance. As air resistance always opposes the motion, when the body going upward, then the acceleration due to resistance of air is downward. So that already g is there is some acceleration, let's say a, due to air resistance, that is also downward. So what is the net acceleration? G plus a. So that the net acceleration will become g plus a. So that ascending time will become u by g plus a. Instead of g, what will come? G plus a. Similarly, what is the maximum height it can reach? U square by 2g. That is the normal case when air resistance is neglected. Now it will become u square by 2 into g plus a. So this is what the few points, few cases which are very important or which are very frequently asked in the entrance point of view. So try to understand, try to derive them also. Not just remember them, try to practice and derive them. If there is any doubt, you can come back to me. So that this is what one of the important like formulae or special cases related to uniformly accelerated motion. So thank you so much. I hope you understood. Let us continue with our third topic.